everybody. This is James Diboe on Discovering. I'm your host for today, and we're discovering new things, and we've got a special guest in today, Zabdiel. How you doing?
Well, praises due to Allah, brother.
But it's great to have you on anyway, and the reason why we brought you on today, we've been discussing back and forth about, you're Muslim, you're part of Islam, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
But also there's their connection with the Nation of Islam, because some people might not understand the differences. So today we're going to deal with your connection. So how long have you been Muslim for?
Yeah, well, brother, I was born Muslim, but I've been attending the mosque since I was about, say, 12, 13 years old. And I've been a registered member of the Nation of Islam since that time as well, since I was about 13.
Wow. So when we're dealing with the Nation of Islam now, but obviously at the moment it's Farrakhan who runs the Nation of Islam.
Yes, sir.
We're going to go a little bit before then, like Malcolm X, and then let's start from the beginning where we deal with like people like Marcus Garvey and also Noblesse Ali, because a lot of people have heard about. We'll deal with Noblesse Ali first, because a lot of people don't hear we hear different things about Noblesse Ali, how he passed away, who he was. So you could just give us a little introduction. Who was Noblesse Ali?
So Noblesse Ali was he was a man that was born in the south, I think in Georgia, and in 1913 he established something called the Moorish Science Temple.
Ah, yeah, the Moors.
The Moorish Science Temple. But Noblesse Ali was he travelled a lot. So there's because it's so long ago, there's different stories about how he came to be. So some people say he went to Morocco, and the king of Morocco gave him like authority to go and spread Islam amongst the people of America.
Right.
Others say he went to Egypt.
Yep.
With a circus, a gypsy circus, and he travelled in Egypt. And in Egypt he met like a high priest, and Egyptian high priest gave him authority. So there's many different theories of how he came to be, called Noblesse Ali. But one thing we do know is that in 1913 he came back to the USA and he established the Moorish Science Temple, which at its height it had tens of thousands of followers. Man, it was very, very huge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Many people that came from the south up north looking for a better life. In the Great Migration.
Yeah.
So it was a very, very big organization.
Some people consider Noblesse Ali as a prophet. I mean, I've heard some of the Moorish Science Temple. I mean, what do you think on that? Would you look at him as a messenger or a prophet? Like, how would you?
He's definitely an inspiration, a guide, a teacher, a mentor, a leader, a light. So, a prophet, like, that's what a prophet is. So it depends, like in Islam, we're very careful to use the word prophet and messenger.
Okay.
You understand me? But like, if you look at it just in a context of what a prophet is, someone that comes and brings prophecy, which is what I want to talk about today anyway, is like, he definitely is that. Because he came and he seen that there was a need for black people, because we were so disunited, mentally, physically, emotionally, scarred and broken.
Yeah.
So he brought a whole system of understanding, beliefs and traditions that brought us together under the one flag.
Yeah.
And it still stands today.
Okay.
The Moorish Science Temple.
And Marcus Garvey, we were saying about, he was around them times with Noblesse Ali. They actually met each other?
Yeah, they did. I think Garvey was locked up in prison.
Okay.
On trumped up charges.
Okay.
And Noblesse Ali went to go and visit him in prison, so that's documented. That's a famous meeting. But it was back then there was no cameras or nothing like that. So they met, they spoke, they agreed on many things, and then Noblesse Ali came out, and Garvey was eventually deported. And as you know, Garvey died in London, in I think in the 40s during the war. So Garvey never got to see Africa physically himself.
Yeah.
But Noblesse Ali's his group expanded and grew and grew and grew till it's still there today.
Yeah. Well, Marcus Garvey was a big inspiration, and he was like so clued up on the Pan-Africanism, especially from the beginning. He understood our brothers were all over the world, making connections.
Yeah, man. Minister Farrakhan said that Marcus Garvey was like one of the greatest black men to ever live.
He was ahead of his time,
yes,
really.
Man. Even if he was on the scene today, he'd be ahead of his time.
Yeah.
He's that far ahead of his time.
He was.
Because he united millions and millions and millions of black people, with no Twitter, no Insta, no YouTube, no social media, just with newspapers and word of mouth.
Yeah. Well, he also making connections to our brothers in the South Pacific.
Yes, man.
The brothers of India,
yes,
and wherever we were, Australia even.
Yes, sir.
And I respected that, and like, because I relate to that kind of thing myself when I go and visit indigenous peoples around the world and stuff. And I feel like it's a similar kind of connection. But this man's mind was on this a long time ago. And then obviously when we go into now, after the Noblesse Ali, we come to Farad Muhammad.
Yes, man, the great Master Farad Muhammad, man.
Okay, so we can tell a little bit on Farad Muhammad, because we'll going to do this in chronological order, where we go to Farad Muhammad, then we'll go to Elijah Muhammad after that.
Okay, well, I'm a Muslim and I'm a student to Minister Farrakhan, so I specialize in, the history of the Nation of Islam. I'm not an expert, but because I grew up in it, I can speak on it with some kind of authority.
Yep.
So Mahdar Muhammad, just quickly, he was born in 1877 in the holy city of Mecca to an original black Arab father and a Caucasian, what you call today a Russian mother. So he was mixed between the two. So as far as we're concerned, he appears in scripture, Master Farad Muhammad. So he's prophesied to come and awaken his uncle. That's what he called black people, his uncle. Meaning that, because his father was original black. You understand me? Like, your father's brother is your uncle.
Oh,
so he referred to the black man of America and the Western world as his uncle. So he came. It says in the book of Matthew, it says that, just like lightning shineth from the east, even unto the west, so shall it be at the time of the coming of the Son of Man. As it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be at the time of the coming of the Son of Man. So we believe that Master Farad Muhammad is the Son of Man. And he's the great Mahdi. And he came because when he came, from Master Farad Muhammad, you got Minister Farrakhan, you got Muhammad Ali, you got Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, you got Imam Warif Muhammad, you got so many people, so many giants that sprouted from, because a teacher is only as good as the students he produces. So if you look at his classroom, it's full of luminaries, full of stars. Like, there's no leader that can compare.
That's right.
You understand? Because Minister Farrakhan, he got in 1995 October, he got 1.8 million men in Washington D.C. on a Monday, with no fight, no war, no beef. They all came, listened, and left peacefully. Almost 2 million men at the Million Man March on a Monday, on a bank holiday.
And it was all peaceful.
All peaceful.
That's it. Well, it shows you that can be done, doesn't it?
It shows, man. It shows.
You have that many people. How many did you say?
1.8 million, almost 2 million.
Almost 2 million. Unbelievable. That.
In Washington City. You can go and pull it. It's documented. It's there.
Yeah. So see now when we come to just being done with Farad Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad is turn next, isn't it?
Yes.
So some consider him as a prophet, or is it going back to what we said before about Noblesse Ali? It's you got to be careful with the word prophet.
You got to be careful. But we don't believe that Elijah Muhammad is a prophet because we believe that there's nothing left to be prophesied.
Okay.
All those that came before Elijah Muhammad, Noah, David, Solomon, Jacob, Elisha, all them that came before him, they were all prophets.
Okay.
Habakkuk in them. So Elijah Muhammad called himself a messenger. So he came to deliver a message. You understand me? Which is basically three things. First thing is that know yourself. Second thing, know your enemy.
Know your enemy.
And the third thing is unite. Accept yourself. Unite.
Unity.
Separate from your enemy and unite amongst yourself.
Yeah.
Separation is our salvation, was the watchword. So he didn't just talk it, preach it. He actually did it. Because under the Nation of Islam from 1930 to 1975, when Elijah Muhammad left us and departed us, the Nation of Islam, they had their own farms, had their own restaurants, their own businesses, they had their own plane, their own shipping, their own transportation. So basically, Elijah Muhammad built a nation worth millions and millions and millions of dollars.
What?
You understand me? So he built, and then on top of that, he also he produced students that went out and spread the word internationally, like Brother Malcolm, like Minister Farrakhan, like Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, like the great Muhammad Ali, so many and so many others.
So with Elijah Muhammad now, I look at comparative studies of how old is humanity. And, when you deal with science, you deal with Lucy in Africa, something like 1.8 million years ago, 2 million years ago. And then modern man, 200,000 years or 300,000 years ago. So now with Elijah Muhammad, he had his own timeline of humanity.
Yes, he did. Because don't forget, Elijah Muhammad, most of these things you're saying, it's all theoretical, it's theories, it's ideas.
Yeah.
Even carbon copying. Some people say that the Sphinx is 50,000 years old. Some say 5. No one really knows. No, but so Elijah Muhammad, as far as we're concerned, he was directly connected to God, to Allah, who taught him directly through the great Master Farad Muhammad, and he taught him that what we call the black man today, we call it the original man. Is between 67 and 77 trillion years old.
Wow.
And we don't even originate on planet Earth. If you look at our flag, most Islamic flags, you got the crescent, you got the moon and the star and the sun. So we originate not even on this planet, but we came down here many, like 55, tens of thousands of years ago, but we're not from Earth. That's why if you look at the genetic makeup of a black man, it's indestructible. You understand me? Like, many people have tried to destroy us. And even if you look at, even today, with COVID and AIDS and so many diseases and black on black crimes and incarceration and, so many things that the enemy try to come and destroy us.
Yeah.
We can't be destroyed. We're indestructible.
The original.
We are. Even sports, anywhere you look at it, even if you look at the pyramids, like they say today, you couldn't build them. It'd be impossible to build one now, even with the tools we have today. Because if you look at just how big each block of granite is, you're talking tons and tons just for one block. And these things are built in the middle of nowhere, middle of the desert. So people are scratching, our greatest minds today are scratching their heads. How did they do it?
Advanced knowledge or something, isn't it? That's we hear different things. I even spoke to some Muslims even see things differently. Like, where a Muslim I was speaking to believed that the jinns, the spirits built the pyramids and stuff. And then some people say aliens done them. Then some people say
anything to deprive the black man of his credit.
Yeah.
That's what they do. Rather than admit that these people have got any kind of scientific knowledge, mathematical know-how, they would rather attribute it to aliens, to zombies, even to ghosts.
Yeah.
but if you talk about Stonehenge, they'll say people built it.
Yeah.
Why didn't zombies and demons and space aliens build so? But when it comes to us, because they don't want to give us no credit, because the key to keeping us in a certain condition is to teach our children that all you are is slaves.
That's right.
You understand me? And in 1863, we liberated you, and since then you've been free, and then we gave you civil rights. But basically, they're trying to teach us that you can't do nothing on your own. So when you think that you're dependent on other people to do things for you, you won't do nothing for yourself.
That's right.
You understand me? That's why they try to whitewash history. They made Jesus black. Even they made Jesus white.
Yeah.
Made James white, Peter white, Mary white, Joseph, everything white. The only thing that they paint black is the devil, or they paint it dark red. Even if you look at colors, like they make you got Black Friday, the black market. You understand me? So they make the color black, and the Black Death, the Black Plague.
Yeah.
Even colors that are close to black, like blue. Like, you feeling blue, you're feeling sad. Or colors like red. If you're red, you're angry. Or green, you're envious. So even colors that are close to black, they put them in a negative light. But the color white itself, though, that's always positive.
What's interesting about that, when we're dealing with that, if you look at everything negative, I will no longer, maybe in the last 500 years, 400 years, this mentality, it's been pushed. But in the Yoruba and in some people in Papua New Guinea and Australia, they said white means death. So it seems like something has been reversed.
Yes, sir. Down
the line. Now, I can understand why they would say white means death, because when you're dying, you're getting sick, you go paler, that's why I can understand why they would say white means death. Or maybe there's something much more deeper than that, because Ranok Rashidi was speaking about the Aboriginal Australians, and it was like when they were telling their story before, like a couple of 100 years before the Europeans came, it's like they knew they were coming through their stories.
Okay.
And I thought that was interesting.
That's prophecy.
That's prophecy.
Yes, you see, that's prophecy.
And I thought that's deep, that. And, there's something more to it that what we're not dealing with here.
But it's funny you should say that, 'cause if you look in the Holy Quran, there's a story of Moses.
Yeah.
Where Moses, he meets God. And God tells him to go and speak to Pharaoh. And Moses says to God, I'm afraid, I'm scared, because he's a mighty emperor.
Yeah.
I'm scared, and I'm just a slave. I'm scared to go and speak to him. So God, so he says to God, give me a sign so I can show Pharaoh that I'm sent from you. So God says to Moses, stick your hand in your cloak, and when you bring your hand out, it'll be white, like leprosy.
Yeah.
And then when you put it back, it'll be black like it. This is in the Quran. It'll be black like it was normally. So even in the Quran, it shows you that the color white in that particular instance is associated with disease and with, because at that time leprosy means death, associated with death. And then when you put it back in, it becomes black again. That's associated with life. But like you say, the past couple of centuries, they've flipped it round.
Something to flip
But
round.
that's what they do with everything. They flip everything round.
Everything,
You
isn't
get
it?
me?
Yeah.
They flip everything round.
It's like when we were talking about the Moors before, even like when they depict the Moors to this day, they act like they were like white or Arab or Eurasian or something. They don't like to be, I mean, but there's still evidence there of all black people from Carthage, even before 7/11, and then even during 7/11, like the army of Africans that came over to Spain, Italy, and civilized them, brought them out the Dark Ages.
Yeah, they did.
But we can't get the credit for that. It has to be someone who's Arab, or it has to be Eurasian, or it has to be a European.
Yeah, but look, it goes even deeper because even if you go online and you type in Tutankhamun, he's probably the most famous Egyptian pharaoh of all time.
Oh yeah.
And you look at him physically, what does he look like today?
Today,
Yeah.
he just don't look like a black man.
No. I mean the real original Tutankhamun.
Oh, the real original,
The
yeah.
sarcophagus, the picture, his lips, his nose.
Okay,
It looks like a black man.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
this shows how intelligent they are. When they can show you something that's a black man and still convince you it's not.
Yeah.
Now that's power. If you look at Akhenaten, he's another emperor, and he's got a huge mouth, big nose, and he's there, and they show him as he is. But then they'll show you, but they'll still convince you. It's like you can get somebody that's not mad, and if you know how to manipulate the way they think and understand things, you can make them believe that they're mad. So you could see something, and I can make you believe, if I know how to do it, that what you're seeing is not real, even though you're seeing it. And that's what they do. So they don't really hide things from you. It's all there. You go to the I've been to Egypt many times. You go to Egypt, you go to any museum, they've got black emperors, black pharaohs openly. But then they'll tell you to your face, oh, it's not.
Yeah.
So but you're looking at it. And because you're so psychologically, because in this society, from the day you're born, you're bombarded to believe that you're just, maybe you're gonna, all you're good for is sport and music, nothing else. So when you start to believe that, then you start to see what's not there. And that's what they do.
And back to Akhenaten, you just mentioned him before. Is he, from what I've researched and that, he talk about, he preached the one God concept.
Yes. They say he was the first pharaoh to do that.
Now, that's what we know of. Now, what was he bringing back? Because they say he was bringing like the one God concept back. Yes. If he's bringing it back, then something must have existed way before that in order to put what you're bringing back.
Because you can't bring back something that wasn't there previously, can you?
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, because like you even say yourself, you believe in like there's the one God concept from the beginning.
From the beginning, man. And that's what we believe in. Like today we call it Islam.
Yeah.
But Islam is just a continuation of what, as far as we know, that came before it. Because if you look at all the things that Muslims do today, that Muhammad brought, like praying. Before Muhammad, people used to pray regular. People used to fast regular. People used to cover their, girls used to cover their hair. You understand? People used to bow down and prostrate. If you go to you know yourself, you go to, yeah?
Seen in Egypt, people on the knees praying like we see today.
So he didn't bring nothing new. He just put it all together, collated it and called it Islam. But before there was a Muhammad, before there was a Moses, a David, Solomon, we existed and we used to worship the one true God, which really is in us anyway.
Yeah.
That's why we teach the black man is God.
Yeah.
Meaning that the God is not in the sky. That's what they
right.
teach you. It's part of you. It's in you.
Yeah.
It's in the sea, the river.
Yeah.
The grass, the wind. It's part. We're all one.
That's it.
So that's what we believe in. That's what we follow.
Good. And and also then like let's not forget about Malcolm X also.
Yes, man. Yes.
So now when we get to Malcolm X after Elijah Muhammad, from the beginning, okay, he was living on the other side and that, and then he went to jail, and then that's where he met Elijah Muhammad. Was it in jail?
Yeah, man. I think his brother Wilfred was a Muslim, so his brother used to come to him and teach him like little tiny things because the way Malcolm used to think was like like street level.
Yeah.
So his brother used to come and tell him like, I've got a way to break you out of prison.
Yeah.
So Malcolm thought, okay, he's gonna bust me, but what his brother meant was the prison of your mind.
Right.
So he said, listen, in order to do it, the first thing you got to do is stop eating pork. So Malcolm thought, okay, maybe he's going to pull a scam on the guards or something. Maybe. So Malcolm stopped eating pork.
That's right.
But then later, Malcolm understood that his brother was just like introducing him to Islam from a way that he knew Malcolm would understand.
Okay.
You understand me? So because that's how you do it. Like you approach people, in a way that it's gonna click with them. You can't attack. You can't introduce things to everyone the same way.
That's
You understand
right.
me? So
Yeah.
it's different horses with different courses. So that's what he did, and then from there, Malcolm, he embraced Islam. He wrote his because in Islam you have to write a letter to Master, even today, to Mustafa Muhammad.
Yeah.
And in the letter, in the letter, you have to explain yourself and introduce yourself and ask to be accepted, and then they send the letter off. And then at the end of the letter, if you have a slave name is a European name, then you have to put that in the letter that my name is, like he put, my name is Malcolm Little. Please give me my original name. Okay. And then that's why he got the X, because the X means unknown in mathematics.
Yeah.
And then later, when you prove that you're a righteous person, they bestow upon you, like Muhammad Ali did and Farrakhan did, an Islamic name, original name.
Yeah.
And that's how we got Malcolm Shabazz.
So when he went to Mecca, didn't he? And that changed Malcolm X.
That's what they say, but that's not true, because he went to Saudi Arabia. He didn't go to Mecca, but he went to Arabia in 1961, and he saw, pale-skinned Muslims then, long before.
Yeah.
He was put out by the nation. So later, when he went in in 64 to Hajj, he's seeing the same people then. So if Malcolm going to Mecca and seeing people that are pale or white in complexion made him understand that Islam is not only for black people, then why in 61, when he's seeing the same people then, didn't he? You understand me? So you have to remember about our leaders as well, and our history, is that the enemy rewrites it all the time.
Yeah.
So that's why you have to know the facts, the truth, because people who were still alive that time that are still alive now, and they'll tell you the facts. So
yeah.
And also just before Malcolm was murdered, he was negotiating to get back into the Nation of Islam anyway, and that's probably why he was murdered, just because it would have been disastrous for him to get back in, because for years and years the enemy was plotting and planning to separate Elijah and Malcolm and Minister Farrakhan from each other, because if you look at something called COINTELPRO Counter-Intelligence Program, it's documented under the Freedom of Information Act. It's out there. You can go and Google it. Go and look. It's there, and it says in that the FBI had a plan to disrupt and destroy black leadership, and even in there, I'm quoting it word for word. In it said that the U.S. government number one aim is to prevent the rise of a black messiah.
That's right. Yeah.
That's the exact words they used. So the enemy knows, because these things are prophesized.
Totally written.
It's prophesized that black people, original people, we will be liberated. And they know it. Like most black people think, oh, that's ridiculous. But the enemy knows it.
Yeah, of course.
It's written there, and that's why they destroyed the Panther Party. They tried to destroy the nation, and they did destroy the nation for a while before the Minister Farrakhan resurrected and brought it back.
Oh yeah.
They destroyed the Moriah Science Temple. You understand me? They destroyed many things, man. They killed Lumumba. You understand me? They killed Gaddafi. They killed so many African leaders, so many Latin American leaders, so many Asian leaders.
Yeah.
So any way where you try and unite, they've even got the embargo like 60, 70 years over Cuba. Still.
I know, it's ridiculous.
Still.
Yeah.
So anywhere, because what they hate is any kind of black unity. Anywhere. That's why since 1984, Minister Farrakhan's been banned from entering the UK in particular, and Europe in general. Since 84. That's a man that's never been arrested, never been prosecuted, never been to prison. And they've banned him from entry. They've banned him for life.
It's terrible.
And at the same time, they've allowed rapists and robbers and convicted criminals into the country to go back and forth.
I know.
But they can't allow Minister Farrakhan into the country. Why?
Yeah.
Because they say he's not conducive to public good.
Well, this is the same thing. I mean, this is why another reason why we deal with the importance of African history on this show as well. And we had a little discussion about Africa before. You being placed in Namibia,
yeah, man. Yes, sir.
Egypt. Yeah, what's Namibia like? That's an interesting one there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful country, man. I was there for about 12 days. I went to Windhoek. I went into the Skeleton Coast. I met many of the people there, the local people. So it's beautiful, man. It's a beautiful time. I went to the local mosque there. I seen a lot of the history. I spoke to a lot of the old people there, and they were telling me about the Germans were there.
Oh yeah,
like a long time ago. And then South Africans, the white ones, they took over it for years as well.
Right.
Before they were eventually, and then SWAPO, Southwest African People's Organization, they fought against the South African government for years, and they eventually got freedom.
Yeah.
So they liberated the land. And it's the same story as well. The same story of liberation in Angola, in Mozambique, in Zimbabwe. So people try to talk like in 1960 or 57, we were given our independence. But in most African countries, we fought for it.
Yeah, of
And
course.
we liberated the land. So, because even when it comes to independence, they try to act like they bestowed, like they gave it to us.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at Jamaica today, Jamaica in '63, it got independence, but it still got a governor, and the Queen of England is still the head of state. So how are you independent?
Of course. That's just the way.
How are you independent?
Yeah.
Just because you got a flag and a little anthem, that doesn't mean independence. Because you got no control over your destiny, and that's what independence means.
So how did you find South Africa when you went? You noticed, is it racism or?
Brother, man, listen, man, the ANC sold out.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing changed.
The only thing that's changed is the head of state. He's a black man now.
Yeah.
You know, in Mbeki, in Julius, and Mandela. But apart from that, though, the people are still poor.
Yeah, of course.
The indigenous, they're still poor. They're still, disenfranchised. They're still living in slums, high crime rates.
About 70% of the land that they own.
Yes,
the
man.
Europeans
I
there,
mean,
you know,
all the resources,
Yeah.
all the diamonds, gold, platinum, palladium, everything, gas, everything, even the fishing, everything is controlled by the enemy.
Yeah.
Nothing's changing that, so don't believe that. I mean, Mandela sold out.
Yeah, that's, you know what?
He sold out.
Well, this is it. I mean, because you don't get out of jail without a script and a plan
you
to become
don't.
the leader.
How can
you
they
know?
tell you to divorce your wife? She stood by him for 27 years.
She was loyal. She was.
And then they told him, imagine that.
Yeah.
And he divorced his own wife, the great. You won't see a greater woman than Winnie. She can
Mandela.
do no wrong.
Yeah. So now come to Nigeria now, you know. Nigerian descent myself, you know. So I love bringing up this one.
Yes, sir.
And I need to get out there. So Nigeria, you've been there many times, haven't you? I believe.
Yes, sir. Yes, I've been there, married there,
Married there.
produced children there.
Produce children.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yes.
Tell us about this one. You know, I'm loving this one.
Yeah, so I married there. I brought the wife here. I had the kids here in the UK. Sent the kids back. So the kids are over there. They're in school. They're schooling there. They're studying there. So because I wanted the children to know home, to love home, to speak the language. Like there's something that Ali said when I was a kid. Muhammad Ali said that when he was in the Congo. He said, on the money you see black people. On TV you see black people. He said, even if you look in the sky, you see a plane, a black man's flying it. Like, when you're in that kind of environment, you haven't got like, if you've got kids here, you can teach them, listen, you can do anything you want. You can be anything you want to be, in theory. But when you've got kids raised in Africa, like, all the doctors are black. All the teachers are black. The president's black. You know what I mean? The minister of health's black. People on the money are black. If they, if you walking down the road, the people that built the road are black. People that built the bridges are black. So you can do anything because you can see examples. Because kids, they respond to what they see, not what they hear.
That's right. Yeah.
So even now, when I speak to my little kids now, they're always, Daddy, I don't want to come back. They're always telling me we don't want to come back. I'm saying, but you gotta come back. I miss you. No, Dad, you come over here and you stay with us. So, but that's beautiful.
Oh yeah,
That's beautiful.
That's what it's about, passing it down. You've done it properly there.
Yes,
you know,
sir. Yes, man.
I'm really happy to hear that
Man.
because
It's a big sacrifice, but it's worth it though.
it's worth it, definitely. And also you went to Libya as well. That was an interesting one.
Yeah. It was in Libya, man. Long before the war, like about say 7-8 years ago.
Because we heard different things about Libya, about black people getting enslaved in Libya, and you know we heard about that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
we
heard
heard about
about
that many years ago,
Yeah.
1,000 years. I mean, over the 1,000 years when they say the Arab conquest and that.
Yes, man. Yeah.
But
People talk about that all the time.
Yeah, but on a modern day basis.
Yeah, when I was there, I gone everywhere I've been. I've been to Saudi Arabia, I've been to Syria, I've been to Libya, I've been to Tunisia, Morocco. I've been all over.
Yeah.
In many parts of the Arab world,
Yeah.
what they call the Arab world, which is really Africa anyway.
Of course. The Middle East is Africa, of
Yeah.
course.
But I've never gone. But maybe I don't know if it's because I'm from Britain, I'm a Western tourist or whatever. But my skin's black, and when I go over there, I represent. I don't go there and pretend I'm not what I am. I go there and say, yeah, I'm a black man, I'm African, I'm original. But I get nothing but love, nothing but respect.
Yeah.
But I think it comes down to. Elijah said, "No, if you respect yourself, and you love yourself, and you're confident in yourself, the whole world will love you." Because if you look at Muhammad Ali or Minister Farrakhan or Malcolm, anywhere they went, they were respected.
Yeah.
You understand me? So
High
if you
self-esteem.
respect yourself, people will respect you.
Yeah,
Even if you go in the midst of KKK, National Front, and you're there, respect people, they will respect you. They might not like you, but they will respect you. So, racism is real. As far as we believe that the black man's got, apart from God and himself, he's got no friends. You understand me? But I personally, I can't lie. I've never seen any racism where I've been. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just means that I haven't seen it. Or maybe when I'm around the brothers, they don't show it to me.
Yeah.
But I've never seen racism in any Arab country I've been.
Wow.
I've never seen it.
Interesting. I mean, maybe things are changing over the years. I mean, I was listening to Professor James Smalls, and he believed like it was racist when he went there. You know, he was going there in, I don't know, the 70s.
Where did he go?
I think he went there about the 70s, Professor James Smalls.
Yeah, which country did he go to?
He went to Mecca.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was talking about like how black people are treated there, fairly low down. But I mean, like you said, it's one's experience can be different to another's experience, and that you know.
But if James Small said it, then it must be true. But I'm just talking from my own personal. I've never seen it.
Yeah, but you know what though, it's been great having you on today. You know,
sir.
unfortunately, we've come to the end of the show now. You know, but definitely going to be a follow up in the future anyway.
Yeah, definitely, brother.
You know, that's a pleasure. You give us some strong information today.
Yes, sir.
Powerful. So I want to thank you very much, Zabdiel.
Yes, brother. All praises due to Allah, brother.
You know, I'm your host, James Diboe, on Discovering, and we're discovering new things, and, you know, we out on this show anyway. But thank you very much, Zabdi.
You too,
Peace.
yes,
Absolutely.
peace. Salam.